Hi, welcome to another session. And on this session, I'm going to be talking about how you can make use of AI as a project manager to ensure that you have a smooth process from your project initiation up to the closing of your project. So, two things that we're going to be doing on this particular session or in this video is to show you how you can actually use AI to maximize your productivity as a project manager. So what you're going to be doing, what I am going to be showing you is how you can use AI to develop your statement of work and also how you can use AI to create your project plan. So two things. Now this works. There's some situations that you already have your own statement of work. So if you already have your own statement of work, then you don't have to worry about using AI to create a statement of work. You can just use AI to actually maybe modify it or to simplify it more for you to have a better understanding, right? But to start with, so let's assume that we don't have a statement of work already. All right. So now the project I want to create is, let's say I want to create an AI tool that is going to help me. So let's say I want to develop an AI tool that is going to help me track my customer engagement, see where my customers are coming from, the demography, right? So that's what I want to do. Now, what I'm just going to go ahead is just to put in my prompt. So I can say, I want you to act as a project manager, create a detailed statement of work to build an application that will use AI to track customer engagement, generate the leads, and make informed decision based on the data. So make it detailed. My organization name is XYZ Enterprise. Comes up with. All right, so we have a statement of work, AI powered customer engagement lead intelligence platform, the overview of the project, the objectives are there, the scope of work. So, what's going to be done, the various scope that you are going to be doing, and then, of course, we have the deliverables also, and then the project timeline. Right. So for the project timeline, you can decide to say, okay, let this project be 2 weeks, let this be 3 weeks. Now, so this is sometimes you have project managers creating the scope statement of work. Sometimes you also have the system coming up with the statement of work or the technical account manager. Sometimes, right? So different people create this. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a project manager alone, right? That's one. Now that you have all these up to your success criteria, risk management, change management, and your budget and the likes, now you can now ask AI to go ahead and create a detailed project plan. So create in a new document. Now, why am I saying a new document is that if you ask AI to create a project plan, chances are that it's going to delete or override what you already have here. So you have to be very careful. So you can say, create a new document creating a new document, a detailed project plan, puts it in tabular format with respective information on task, responsibilities, dependencies, risk identification, deliverables, timeline, milestone, right? Then you are saying the project is an 8 weeks project or is a 10 weeks project. So now you have told ChatGPT what to create. Now you can decide to add even more information to this. This is just based on our prompting process, right? So you can add any other thing, maybe dependencies, maybe other deliverables or other dependencies that probably are with if they are third-party dependencies, you can also like add them. So add third party dependencies if needed or if necessary, right? So now I'm going ahead with that prompt. So we ask it to put it in a tabular format, right? So this is, we have the prompt here already. So you have the task, the responsibility, the dependencies, risk identified, the deliverable, the timeline, and the milestone, and then you have your third party dependencies, if any, right? So you can see now that we have this coming up as a detailed plan, right, up to the user acceptance point and the deployment, of course, to production. Now, the interesting thing again is that you can even tell AI that, okay, the environment that I'm deploying to AWS, I'm deploying to Microsoft Azure, whichever environment that you want to deploy to, you can inform ChatGPT or AI. Yeah, I'm just using ChatGPT in this case now. So whichever environment you want to deploy to, you can also decide the environment. So we have this now, right? So what I'm just going to go ahead and do is I'm going to copy this, right? So for you looking at, okay, how do I go from here? So I'm going to copy this now and then put it in a Google Sheet template. So I am using Google Sheet. You can decide to use any template that works for you, right? It could be Excel that you are using, whichever templates that you are more familiar with. So for my own case, I'm using Google Sheets right now. So I'm just going to put it in Google Sheets as a new template, right? So once I put it in my Google Sheets as a new template, then it becomes much more easier for me to actually track, right? So the way you copy it now, once you copy it the same way, just go to your Google Sheets and just drop it in your Google Sheet. It becomes much more easier for you to actually track. Just come here and then you just paste it here, right? Just click on one of the columns and just paste. Once you paste, then you come here to the text wrapping and then you wrap up your text. So once you wrap it up, it makes it much more easier for you, and then you can now decide to extend this way, right? So you can see we don't need this first column, so I can just go ahead and take it off depending on what you want to work with. So you have your task description, you have your responsibilities, right? You have your dependencies also, and then you have the risk, the deliverables, you have the milestones, and then you have the third party input. So this makes it much more easier for you to actually. Now, another interesting thing again is that you can now move ahead from here. Now we have this already, right? So I can now decide that I want to create some task. So what you will do that I would advise is that when you are creating your content this way, try as much as possible to ensure that you are creating a new document so that it does not override it. So I can now say that, okay, create subtask and make it more detailed, put it in a tabular format, right? Now, another interesting thing that you also want to do now, like I mentioned earlier, you are now telling AI where you are deploying. So the products, the application will be deployed to AWS. So the application is being deployed to AWS, right? Now, create the subtask based on this. So what you are basically doing is that you are giving AI every necessary information on that particular project so that the end result that AI is going to give you is going to be easier for you to work with. So put this in a new document entirely. We are doing that so that it doesn't override this, right? So now I am going to just enter this and then let's see what the prompt comes up with, right? So you are saying, okay, now I want you to create subtask, right? This particular project, I have told you what I want to do. Now I'm also telling you where, oh, sorry, I'm also telling you where we need to. So we are deploying it into AWS environment. So now based on the deployment, right? So we can see that now it's creating the task based on the deployment. So the cloud architecture is going to be developed, the AWS environment is going to be set up, and every other thing. So you can see that now you have even a more granular breakdown of what you intend to achieve at the end of the day, what you want to do at the end of the day. So you can see this final handover and all of this. So this information that you have now, you can now decide on how you want to work with it. So you can just go ahead and copy that same breakdown that you have, and then just go back to the spreadsheet and just put it in there, and that makes it much more easier for you. Now, another interesting thing that I want us to also take note of is there's a way that you can work with AI that makes your work very, very easy. Now, pick a particular chart for a particular project. So, you pick a particular chart for a particular project, it becomes much more easier. That any new thing that is happening on that project, you are just going back to that chart. For example, I am using ChatGPT here. You're just going back to that chart to impute all those information. So, for example, maybe in the course of deployment, your team member came across a particular issue with maybe EC2 or whatever, and they communicate with that, oh, Israel, the EC2 is having issue, maybe I can't deploy to the EC2, the server is not accepting for whatever reason, anything that they come up with, and then top of your head you're like, oh, I don't understand this thing that they are saying. You don't have to automatically go back to them or immediately go back to them and say, oh, I don't understand what you're saying. I mean, just give it a try first. Take that information, come to the charts that you have created here, drop that information on the charts that, okay, based on this ongoing project, my engineer said XYZ. They said this. What could be wrong? What can we do? What are the recommendations? So, ChatGPT, AI is, and then you are building that memory so that subsequently it has even more better information to give you. So it will give you recommendation, and then when you have a recommendation, you can go back to your team and say, okay, what do you saw? What do you think? What should we do? That way, you already have a better understanding of what your team are trying to do, of what your team intends to achieve. So as they are communicating that to you, it becomes much more easier for you to not only understand, but for you to also be able to respond to them effectively, right? So this is the first approach. Now, the second thing that I'm going to be doing now, this is one project, right? So I'm going to be creating another chart for another project, right? So that project, the new one now, we have our project plan, and we have the SOW already created. So I'm just going to be uploading the SOW, and we'll see how it works. So I'm going to create a new chart, right? So this new chart now. So first of all, I'm going to be adding the documents. So I'm going to be importing the documents. AI Boost is the name of the project, ARP development on AWS. So I'm going to be bringing in I've added the SOW here. So I'm just going to be saying, okay, I want you to act as a project manager, and create a detailed, apologies for the error, a detailed project plan based on the SOW attached. Make it, put it in a tabular format, add subtask, and make it detailed. Right, so here you go. Now this becomes very, very easy for you because we already have the SOW. So your team sends the SOW to maybe your sales team or wherever, they send you an SOW that, okay, this is what we want to do. You can import the SOW directly to AI, ChatGPT, for example, and then you are saying that, oh, I want you to create a detailed project plan based on this thing. Add subtask. So you are creating it based on this SOW that you have, and then you're just going ahead to just enter. So it's going to create that particular project plan for you, make it as detailed as possible, so that it's easier for you to, probably you want to import it into your Jira or into your ClickUp or your Asana, wherever it is that you want to import it to. It becomes much more easier for you to import, right? So that's like a very straightforward or very fast approach to get things done. You just wonder that, oh, they just how come do you come up with this project plan so easily and pretty much fast? AI has made everything easier for you. Like, AI is here to help you to be productive, to make things very much easier for you, so you don't have to really go through any unnecessary stress or any avoidable stress, right? So that's just that about you already having your own plan. I'm going to be doing the next year on Claude. So let's use Claude. So I'm going to be using Claude to do this. Apologies. Okay, sign in. Yeah, sign in. Okay. So now I'm just going to paste this here and then upload the file. Remember the file that we have, AI boost. Upload the file, and then just go in here and right. So it's creating the project plan now, and then putting it in the tabular form. So you can see Claude even more interesting. It's putting all the task in here based on who's going to be doing what, right? So you can see all this name, all this information here. Now this is just a. I came up with this. Interestingly, I came up with this SOW also with AI. So the names that they are just like random names generated by AI. So if you see your name here, it was not intentional at all, right? They are just names that are generated by AI, basically. So you can see the risk management aspect of it, and then key other informations that are needed on the project are there. So you have the project plan, the communication plan, deliverable checklists, risk management, every other information that you need, you can see they are here on the project. So, and just like the same way I mentioned, you can go ahead to work on the projects, on your projects, have a particular chart so that as you have more details coming in or more information coming in, you are coming back here to drop it in the chart so that you are better informing AI of the ongoing project. And if you have any other question, it's easier for you to come back and ask. So this way I'm going to be stopping here right now. If you have other things, watch out on this page for more instruction or for more information on how you can use AI to maximize your task and be more productive. So whichever career path you have, be it teaching, product management, developer, whatever it is that you're doing, we have some, even HRS, something that AI can do for you. And if you have other things that you want AI to do to make your work easier, please feel free to drop it in the comment section. Our team is going to work on this, and then we'll be able to come up with a video for you to explain how you can get things done faster and better with AI. Thank you very much for joining. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. We'd love to see you back on the channel one more time. Thank you very much.